better, stronger, faster. It's real. Terror, reverence, ecstasy. Inside my head, inside my cells.
Hello, vinyl community. I'm back with an interesting topic, and I'm hoping that it will generate some discussion. So I just want to see what happens with this video. So really, I want to talk about usually my online resources to find new music. Now, you have your traditional resources like, going to a record store and hearing something, going to a concert and hearing a band, like an opening band, and catching them for the first time, or watching something on TV and then some music pops up and you discover it that way. So those are more traditional sources, and you got a school of people, and I would say most of your record buying public is this way. Not to get off on a separate topic, but there's been a lot of psychological studies that just go to show that most of your record buying public gets fixated on a certain decade or decades, and psychologically speaking, they get fixated on the decade where they were most happy. Now, there's nothing wrong with that at all, and then you find that crowd and they're like, there isn't any good music being made anymore. And I disagree. I mean, now modern pop music is just not my thing anymore. I can't get into stuff that's being played on the radio. I think there's a lot of overused devices in modern pop music, and it just frustrates me. That's not to say there isn't a single or two that I like every now and again, but I am finding new music, and a lot of it, my ways of finding new music are online. And I really want to talk about 4 different things about finding new music and also rediscovering old music. And this is through the internet, but I'm really curious what other people are using, because I'm sure there are other tools out there, and I'm really curious, and I'm hoping this will start a discussion on what do other people use. So number one is obviously this YouTube vinyl community. So I think I'm subbed to over 500 people now. I mean, there's some non-VC stuff, but and a lot of VCers are just not making videos anymore. So going back to when I first started watching back in 2010, but there's a lot of people that are dedicated to a particular niche of music. There's a lot of people that are showing just obscurities. There's a lot of people showing like modern stuff that I may have missed out entirely. Now, I can't watch everyone, and I try and divide up my time, and I try and catch people now and again and try and make a comment when I can. But for all of you, I do watch you, at least the folks that I have corresponded with. I may not be able to catch all your videos, but I try and watch when I can. So number one is probably the vinyl community, because it's introduced me to a lot of records that I probably wouldn't have known otherwise. But moving on, I have kind of a weekly ritual that I get into with my other 3 online avenues for finding new music. So number one is AllMusic. So AllMusic started out writing these guides. So they got different guides for different genres of music. This is just electronica. Back here I have like rock, jazz, and then I have like a world mix book. And these guides are just fantastic. And they break it up by artist, and then they kind of give like their rating of different artists' catalog. Now, it's not definitive. These guys are not definitive by any means, but they're good. But AllMusic is translated to online, a lot of their stuff, and one of the things that I find very fantastic is they have a weekly email that comes out probably late Thursday night, early Friday morning in the United States, and anyone can subscribe to this email list. Now, what I like about this email list is, it will give you like the list of 30 or 40 albums from the major labels or the bigger names coming out in a particular week. So, you can look at the the thumbnail art. You can see the genre. So I look through this, and if I see like some cover art that grabs me or an artist I know, then I'll go back and I'll search and figure out how to sample it. So that's number 2. So number 3 is a UK-based record dealer, and for me this is really big. Their music interface is probably the best on the internet. Now, I find the volume of new music that they get into their collection is far superior to like an Amazon.com, and their musical interface is geared to a music buyer. So every single record that they bring into their inventory, they get sound samples for each of the tracks. So you can sample each one. Now, I know there are some people saying, well, you can do that on Amazon too, but not for everything. With Uno or Uno.co UK, you can sample everything, which I find just fantastic. And the other thing is they can send you emails, weekly emails of different genres and the music that they're getting into their inventory for a particular week. So they got jazz, they have indie, they have electronica, they have experimental, they have techno. All the genres that you could possibly think of, they have a weekly email for it, and they send it to you, and you can sample everything that they're bringing into their inventory for a particular genre. So I just find them fantastic. Now, even though they're based in the UK, I find their shipping very reasonable. So, I can't buy from them like every week, but what I'll do is, if I find a record that, I sample and it sounds good, you can see if it's available from a domestic retailer, or I've ordered a lot from them, and like I will build up my cart over time, and like every 2 months, I'll have 8 records shipped over to the States, and the shipping is just fast. I've got my records in about 10 days after paying for it. So I find it just fantastic for you guys in Europe. I highly recommend them. The shipping should be a lot cheaper than what it is to the United States. So that's probably number 3. Now, number 4 is really good for finding, I want to say, audiophile pressings or really key represses. So there are 4 big companies, and I kind of lump them all in the same. So there is Elusive Disc, Soundstage Direct, Music Direct, and Acoustic Sounds. So all of them are somewhat similar in what they have to offer. They all offer equipment, so you can get record players, you can get cartridges, you can get amps from them. But they're more catered towards the audiophile. So like all the boutique pressings you can get from these guys. They don't really give you a whole lot for sound samples per se, but I find it useful to get on their email list. So they will send you daily emails on specials that they're going to offer. And what I've noticed with these 4 companies is that they all try and go for the discounts at the same time. So when one does a 20% discount, the others kind of fall in line, and so that is usually the best time to get like a boutique pressing if that is something you're after. Music Direct, of course, owns MoFi, Mobile Fidelity Sound Lab, so they really promote their pressings. Acoustic Sounds, they are affiliated with Analog Productions, so they're going to promote the Analog Productions pressings. Soundstage Direct and Elusive Disc don't do that so much. Soundstage Direct really covers a lot of ground. They have bootlegs, for example, which I can't find on the other 3 websites. Elusive Disc is kind of interesting because they get a lot of Japanese imports, so like the Super Audio CDs, Japanese pressings. So each one has its unique specialty, but the core product and the core audience is basically the same. So those are really my 4 things. So the VC, AllMusic, Unoco.uk, and the other 4 audiophile dealers here. So that's what I'm using over the course of a week, just kind of sampling what's online. I'm curious, what do you guys use? Is there something else that's better out there? Let me know. If you can do a video, that'd be fantastic. So I want to see if this can generate a discussion of sorts. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.